Greeting fellow modelers, here an exciting kit I always wanted to build from Fiddlers Green series, the Bell X-1, the first aircraft to break the sound barrier. So without further ado, let's begin this awesome build. So here we have the Bell X-1. Very important, the first person to go supersonic, Chuck Yeager, in the Bell X-1. The fuselage, the wing, we have the tail section, which is part of the ventral, the stabilizer, the landing gear, which is very important and technical, and the wheel. And here, the beautiful fuselage with the dorsal and ventral spine. And here's instructions on how to build it. Majority of the time, of course, is going to be spent building the spine. Now, if you like building these kits, check out Fiddlers Green where you can find so many others to do. So let's begin with the tools we need to get this build done. Now first and foremost, I always preach the gospel of the tweezers. Here, any and every type of tweezer with the fitting important. An X-Acto knife or any other knife of similar caliber. Scissors definitely needed to do the work. And some cake decorating tool. These will form the curve either of the fuselage or any part that requires compound curve. If you don't have it, then you can use your brush handle, which is very important. Also for rolling, a steel rule, a 6-inch and a 1-foot steel rule really would help you when using your knife. And here, not 100% necessary, but a cutter is very good. Now this, the Aleene's Tacky Glue, highly recommended. Can't do better than that. And of course, super glue for quick strengthening of structures. And of course, some toothpick. We'll either use them whole or splice them to form thin parts. And that, my friend, are the tools. Now, cutting the parts out, for me, it's easy, so I can focus on what I need to start the build. Now, in case you want to get the tools, just go to the description. I have a link to Amazon, and of course, it is the flash sale what they're having, so you might pick up for these for little to nothing. Let's dive into the fuselage. So in doing the fuselage, you are going to notice a couple things. One, I'm going to cut out and probably deal with the center first, but then make sure that you cut out each individual part because each part is going to be rolled to be ready. Also, you see I'm spending the time here cutting these. These are the joiner tabs that's needed. Now before we cut the part out for the wing, we're going to roll the fuselage. And then we cut it out. So that will hold the main area for the wing. We're going to then glue the tab on, tighten it down, lock it, and pretty much that is it. So now we're going with the rear. And the rear part will be joined later, and we're going to repeat the same process. I love the fact that the Bell X-1 looks like a bullet. I would not be surprised if it took its inspiration from the bullet, and it's a first experimental aircraft design specifically to test the barrier of the speed of sound, and it known that it could be broken, but back then everything was so new. And here you see I'm taking the time to join it. Make sure that when you are joining the piece that they align. So what you're looking at, that white area on both top and bottom, is where it'll take the dorsal and ventral spine. And now we continue finish with a rocket motor end. This is the tail end. Now at this point here, you could install your rocket motor, which is at the end of the video, which will make it so much easier. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Here you see I'm just rolling to make sure that the joint at the end is good. Now you see me using the cake decorating tool. That is because I want it to be so easy to join the parts and it form a smooth enough and tight enough curve. You see me checking the alignment? Good. Also use the insignia, that will help you. So now let's deal with the forward end, which is a cockpit. This time I'm not using my brush handle, but the toothpick to roll it and glue the tip of the bullet nose shape of the cockpit. I really love these X-Blade. The next one probably I'll tackle would be the F-15, the X-15, not F-15, I'm so sorry, but the X-15, because it just looks the part. And yeah, here we are, just like what we did with the tail, we're joining the nose. Now, you see the parts where we join the individual disc? This is now where we're going to make sure they are all aligned, because that will help with how the fuselage front and the cockpit will line up. So here you see I'm rolling this part here. We then make sure bend the joint tabs in a bit. Make sure that the joint tabs are aligned and put glue. And each time I'll be doing the same thing. Alignment, glue until you reach the cockpit area, and then take your time to make sure that they're aligned, and then use your tweezer to lock it down. Here you see I'm using the kit decorating tool to form that compound curve, and we join this. So if you look closely, you'll notice I start with the center, go to the rear, and now the front. I will build the front third of it, and then we can mate it to the main cockpit. There you go. Look at that beauty, how it comes together. Carefully check the alignment. Carefully lock down the things. And once you're good to go with that, we then just put in the curve on the end like that. Nice. And then we do the same with the main center fuselage body. And now we can join them. Always make sure to check the alignment of that clear area, that white area, so that they match. So we lock that part down first carefully, then we check the top, align that. Pretty much that's it. And that hole we cut up for the wing, we can just put a tweezer there and just sort of press against it. And that, my friend, the fuselage. So the fin or the dorsal spine assembly is the one at the top. So for it, we're using the back of our knife to just score along, get rid of the excess paper. And once we get rid of the excess paper, let me show you what we're going to do. Cut those out like what we did for the fuselage and bend those over. Now you see how I'm folding it? Those are very important, because that's a part that will be resting on the fuselage. Put a little crease in there, a groove to match the fuselage shape. Now, those joint tabs for the fin, you see I'm using my toothpick to roll. Yep, it really helps. Trust me on that one. Awesome, look at that. Awesome plane. I think it's the bright orange that really caught my attention. There you go. Let's lock this baby up. Press against, when you're finished with this, press against the mat to make sure it is straight and not twisted. Look at that. And let's make a small hole. This is what we'll take a split off toothpick, a sliver of toothpick, so that your fin and stabilizer will be straight. Here now we're cutting out the spine, roll it, put a little curve in the top after this, like that. Nice. And now we can lock up both sides. Now that we have done that, we can press it in like what we did with the tail. Generous amount of glue, and then we can put this onto our fuselage. Now check out the alignment carefully. You see where that is? That alignment? Perfect. Now we lock up this carefully. Check it. Nice. Generous amount of glue on the tail section. For the joiner tab, some glue, and slide right into place. It's a really good design. Shout out to the builder, the designer of this, who did a pretty good drawing and design of the model. And that, my friend, is your dorsal spine and fin. And now the ventral spine, or the one on the bottom. This is what contains the nose landing gear and other electrical stuff. So here we get rid of the excess, and just like with the dorsal, we're going to fold over those joint tabs, put the curve in it as we did before, and we're going to glue it to the fuselage. Now when you do this, you're going to notice I'm going to glue on practically 2/3 of it, which is the glue from the forward going back 2/3, like that. And you notice I'm not pressing the back yet. I'm going to show you why. We are just making sure that all of that at the front is aligned, then we just glue the back. And just like that, we have, ta-da, a good looking model. Yeah, man. That is Irie. One love. Main wing assembly. So with the main wing assembly now, cut off the excess paper, and to be honest with you, this is probably the easier part of it because the fuselage was the most complicated part. I think the second challenging part to it would be the main landing gear. But other than that, pretty much it's easy street from here on out. Yeah, and just like that, join our tabs. Now we're going to put our toothpick in, and these toothpick will strengthen your wing and also keep it level, straight, add some weight and structure to your model. Irie, look how that looks good, man. Nice. Press against your mat, make sure everything is flat and straight. And now we lock up the center. And now that's good, let's join to the fuselage. Take our time to put in, and you know what's the wild part about it? Once you see I'm using my knife to just make sure, bring it out to the edge where it is supposed to be. You're going to find like it's not round, it's more oval shape, the cross section of that aircraft. And now we're doing the stabilizer. At first I was caught off guard. I thought that when I folded, the part that's folded would have been the leading edge. Now you see I'm putting up those segments. That's where you're going to join the base. I thought that was the leading edge what I'm folded. Nope, it isn't. That actually, if you look at the drawing, you see that part where I'm gluing? That's the leading edge of the stabilizer. So pay attention to that carefully when you are gluing and make sure that you follow that. Okay, so now that we have locked those up, put in our toothpick like we said in the beginning when we're doing our fin. Generous glue to the base of the stab. One side, good. Let's do the other side. And alignment is very important. Check both from looking above and looking from the back and make sure that everybody is aligned. And just like that, nice. So let's go on to the nose gear assembly now. The nose gear pretty much is straightforward, but pay careful attention to how the landing gear strut is done. So like we did with several other of our Fiddlers Green model, it's a simple join the strip and then fold over the wheel profile and join them. Now for the nose gear, you notice I make it fold, then the outer part, it folds up. So what you're going to do is pinch the center. That center here, look, you see I'm folding in? that part is to be glued. So we're going to glue that part properly, pinch it, and that's it. So let's just cut away the excess paper, split it now in half, and then we're going to glue the wheel on to the center of that. When the wheel is on, then we can fold over the side and glue it. Just like that. And that, my friends, is how you do it. Now it is so small and so low. What we do, we just put glue, put our wheel in position, and once it's there, we are going to use super glue to lock it up, and it will dry rock hard like plastic. The main landing gear assembly, this part now, a little bit technical, but you know what, you can do it. So just like the nose gear wheel, we're going to do the main landing gear wheel. Not much, just roll with your toothpick or brush handle, lock up, and then we glue the sides of the wheel together and repeat the process, and you'll have your pair of wheels for your main gear. Now the landing gear is where now we are going to make it happen. The main landing gear we cut out, okay, careful with it now, and several fold, but please pay careful attention to how I fold it in this drawing, in this visual representation. You see all those folds I'm making? Carefully do these. Glue everything together, and we're going to fold the tabs to the inside. Now let's attach this to the fuselage. So the integration now is like this. The landing gear area actually is separate. So you see now, let's get rid of the excess paper. There's going to be a lot of folding. So here we're folding the landing gear doors. One side, then the larger side. And once these are done, you're going to discover that you're going to put several curves in it now. So the curve we're going to use our brush handle to do it. Put a curve on the larger door, then one on the smaller door, and then flip over and put a curve with your brush handle. Nice, just like that. Now once that's done, we're going to glue into place. Check it out. The large handle go on top closest to the wing, and the smaller part to the center, almost touching the spine on the bottom. Carefully check how your landing gear door is installed. You can tell by looking at how the wheel base is aligned, okay? If not, just make sure that it looks like a swept wing when you put your main landing gear in. That way you will know. Strengthen that with some super glue and bam, nice. Repeat the same to the other side. You see we lock that up. Check for proper alignment. Be very careful and make sure that the landing gear joint between the wheel and landing gear is pointing down. And then we put in and attach the other main wheel. And that, my friend, is it. Now let's just put on the nose gear door. We just clip, roll with our brush handle, and then attach. That's it. Awesome. Now, remember the rocket motor that we spoke about in the beginning? Here it is at the end. Now, you see I'm going to cut out, and I have to now cut it slightly smaller than what it was because I forgot to put it in the beginning. So here you see now it looks like what do you call it? A cubozoid? A trapezoid? You can tell me in the comment, but it is angular. It is not round. And then I put the rocket motor profile in the back, And pretty much that's it. It would be nice if it was recessed, but you know what? A win is a win. It still works. It still works. And that, my friend, is how we will finish with the model. Now, bring it all together with some painting. Now, do not neglect this stage. You see me using all this red paint to go over and color the white areas? It lifts your model fully. Now, you can try this at home. It really works. Painting the spine, the fin, everywhere that you see white, it will help it. Thank you so much again for joining me on another Fiddlers Green build this weekend. Enjoy yourself, eat well, be merry, fly high in the mind and in life. Be gentle to yourself. Thank you, my Patreon members who make this all possible to bring this to you. If you want to follow behind the scenes, you can follow me on Patreon, where you can get exclusive stuff also in special sections. So until then, my friends, take care, walk good, be gentle to yourself, relax, and enjoy life. And above all, one love.